of feminization. This has been in play for a long time, even when we were children, probably even before that. Ever since hip hop came out, the changing of the guard with Jews taking over hip hop, I believe that's when the plan was implemented back then. Now it done come to fruition. There's a whole nother problem for black people. There's a new ruling class that's been created right up under our noses. We'll talk about it. Gangsta talk up next. All right, Dame, hit it.
Yeah, son. There's mad kids out there getting cream for the 9-5, bro. Yeah, and I've been doing this for a long time. Shoot the game, going for fine.
Alright.
And this is the year when mad caps get peeled. So I'ma spark this line, kick the reel.
Bang him out.
With all this chaos in the realms of the street, your local street dog got to make ends meet. The average Joe's far too slow for the ghetto pro. You better know, when I hit the streets, I like to glow, I like to glisten. And at the same time, stay low, listen, motherfuck the fame. I'm pursuing the dope. My stilo is symbolic to a kilo. Cash is popping, coke's cooking, beans copping. Ain't that some shit? A player that's used to living rich is now a sticky kid, caught up in a ditch. In 94, Giuliani kicked down the door. In 95, niggas flipped to stay alive, peeling caps while I laugh. In the stats, the 4.5, Remy in the glass, spark the boom, then I blast. They wanna confine me, sneak up from behind me, bust a cap in my back and put me where they can't find me. They hate this young player pay. I don't wanna see that, son. They rather see him spray. But I'm like Nitty, a Terminator, squeeze the lead off, using verbs and nouns like rounds to blow your head off, hitting up spots, heating up blocks, investing in stocks like Colombian blow crops. I'm out to get cream and ain't no doubt in my mind. Fuck this broke shit, I'm hit, I get down for mine. Yeah, get you up, I get down for mine, get down for this, and put your hands in the air. I get down for mine, get down for this, on the regular, shit, no fair. I get down for mine, get down for this, and put your hands in the air. I get down for mine, get down for this, on the regular, shit. I hear you wanna be a player. I ain't someplace you bet. Let's play a game of real nigga roulette. With this a DOA as I spray the melee. Contact and punctuation is compared to AKs. You in a daze. Overdose for pure funk. I'm fucking off like Tommy Gibb. McCarman's a booty smoke. Decapitated rappers in my trunk. I'm sick, pumping skunk, bouncing with my click, popping mega jump. I'm getting back while these clowns be zigzagging. What's this talk about flipping keys? Come on, you're nickel bagging. I'm blasting off wings and making doubters believe it. You see, I was packing heaters when jokers was banging cheerleaders. Ain't nothing changed, it's still the same in the rap game. I'm known for banging rookies out the frame. Y'all done forgot who was the pimp from the start. Sipping vintage wine, eating a la carte. I'm phenomenal from the abdominal. Far from comical lyrics and sticking the brains like barnacles. Never sleep. I'm bringing the drama to the streets with techniques and rolling in fleets. Ain't nothing sweet about the streets, so I'm poetically ill. I'm pure like cook up and lyrics shine like fish scale. I got the banger at your throat and you ain't showing no signs. K-Dep, let them know I get down for mine. I get down for mine. I get down for dance and put your hands in the air. I get down for mine. I get down for dance on the regular. Shake the fingers, no fair. I get down for mine. I get down for dance and put your hands in the air. I get down for mine. I get down for dance on the regular. Shake the fingers, no fair. I get down for mine. 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 We get my down for dance on the regular. Shake the with no fear.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gangsta Talk. Surprise, surprise, surprise. It is me, your co-host, Dame Frankie. And and Ebony Beko. Okay, Max will be in just a few minutes. In the meantime, we're back, everybody, and Effeminate Rule Part 2. Now, Max is going to go into, what he means about effeminate rule, what's going on, things we need to look out for, stuff that we have missed or never noticed before, but, now it's coming to the fruition. We starting to see all this, and we need to come to attention because there's things going on right underneath our nose, and we got to pay attention to what's really going on. Yeah, and there's, as Max said, there seemed to be a new ruling class, an effeminate class, and no, effeminate does not mean feminine. Effeminate is a male who's acting womanly. Yeah. So yes, we're talking about men who are acting womanly, who seem to be taking over and changing things. They have an influence, and they seem to be dominating society. But they seem to be targeting more us, especially black people, black men. I know some y'all have been seeing the effeminization of our black men. We've seen black men in dresses. We've seen our black children being told it's okay to wear a dress. We're taking very young children who say they feel that they are female. Young children don't be thinking about sex, unless somebody is putting it in their head or doing things to them, wearing a dress. Okay, then I don't know what's going on with that. I know I never known boys to want to wear a dress. They didn't want to be thought of as a girl. They were boys. I'm not a girl. I'm a boy, and they get mad, and then they overcompensate. They feel like too many people are seeing them as a girl. They will overcompensate, but yet this is being gone on. Is being accepted, and anybody that don't agree with it, they're ashamed, and told that they're being homophobe. No, we're not being homophobe. We are expecting our boys to be boys, not girls, and our girls to be girls. And and a child is too young hasn't matured enough to make these decisions. That's why we wait till they're of age. We encourage them to wear clothes of their sex, and if it really is as they say, it'll form an adulthood. But most of the time, it's just a bunch of confused people. It's just a bunch of confused people. I always thought that was confusing. That how you a girl or are you a woman? You don't know that. You ain't been a woman. You just think you are, or you think you feel you are, or because you feel that you don't meet some kind of image of your mind of what a man's supposed to be, then that means you want to be a girl, or you meant to be a girl. Okay. All right.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
It's back. I'll step back.
All right. All right. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, let's get it on. All right, everybody, welcome to Gangsta Talk. Title is Effeminate Rule Part 2. started this podcast earlier. Didn't get a chance to finish it because I was interrupted. I work, so I get a lot of interruptions. Um, Man, where do I start? I'm going to flat out and say this. Now, people believe all kinds of things, conspiracy theories. They believe the Baphomet. They believe the devil. They believe all kinds of things, right? And so when you say things that people don't ever hear about or they can't really imagine because they've been trained to think very, very simplistic. And so when complicated things go into place to create a certain result, they won't believe it because they're just not used to thinking in those terms. Most people think in very simplistic terms: go to work, go to school, grow up to be a decent human being, stay out of trouble, study hard, just simple things in life, right? So when all of these complicated things go on behind closed doors to set up these elaborate results, when someone tells you that these things don't happen, it's hard for us to imagine these things because many of us don't think along those terms. We just think very simplistic. Most people just want to get up in the morning, go to work, make a day's pay, come home, relax, maybe have something to drink, which is something to eat, shower, maybe go out to the movies. You teach your kids to go to school so they can get a decent job, so they can become somebody in life, whatever. That's pretty much the way you've been trained to think. Most of us aren't trained to think outside the box. And then what they do is, to make sure you don't believe these things that are taking place, they have television. And so television creates another kind of thinking in your mind, something that is fictitious. So if it's on TV, 9 times out of 10, it's not real. And so this is where they dump a lot of this information on TV and in the movies. You see all of these crazy things happening in TV. You see all these crazy things happening in the movies where people are performing heroic acts. Scientists are coming up with incredible this and incredible that. And you got monsters, you got robots, you got all kinds of stuff, right? So television and movies is where they hide all of this information. And so, again, if someone comes out and talks to you about the stuff that's going on and it resembles something you've seen on TV or something you've seen in the movies, you're going to dismiss that person that's either crazy or joking or have no idea what he or she is talking about, or call that person a conspiracy theorist or stuff like that. So, all right. So this is how they built all of these mental blocks in your mind. And so you go forward in life and you don't think about the unthinkable. You don't think about the impossible. You don't think about, hey, wait a minute. Can there really be clones? I've seen them on TV. I've seen them in the movies. Can there really be clones? Are aliens really abducting people? Maybe the aliens aren't, but what about other human beings? When you look at the slave trade, right? Well, I wouldn't say the slave trade. When you look at the pornography rings and these kids get kidnapped, isn't that what you call that? That's an abduction. I'm sorry, my Jersey accent. That's an abduction. So, and then when you find out that the people who are doing this are pedophiles and rapists, they aren't aliens. So you go through life and your mind is set up for you in a very simplistic fashion. So when all of this chaos comes and somebody's telling you, hey, wait a minute, they don't put a chemical in your food, and that chemical will cause you to have certain kinds of ailments as you get older. They don't put chemicals in the water. They don't put chemicals here and there. They don't do all these things because they're trying to put transistors in your blood and all that stuff, right? Well, you've seen that stuff on TV. You've seen it in the movies, but you just can't imagine it in real life because your mind is just not set up that way. And this is how they get a lot of things past you. This is how they can do things right in front of you, and you don't believe that they're doing them, or you just don't see them at all. So if somebody was to tell you, hey, there's a conspiracy to turn the entire world gay, and those who won't become gay, or those who won't bow to a homosexual controlled society, will be enslaved or murdered. So if someone come at you and say something like that, nah, man, get out of here, man. What you think this is, the Planet of the Apes? See, you never think that movies like that plant thoughts in your mind to block things that are going on in reality. So if you see the Planet of the Apes, right, and you see a monkey running around talking, Caesar, and he's commanding all of these apes and and people in the jungle, right? Okay, that's fine for the movies. But if I told you that they're doing that in real life, but except it's not the Planet of the Apes, it's actually homosexuals who are doing it. You're like, man, get out of here. You're not going to believe it. Man, you're going to be like, man, what you think this is, the Planet of the Apes? What do you think this is, the day the Earth stood still? See, your mind starts to go back and think of all of the things you've seen in the movies. And those movies were made on purpose. So you can develop mental blocks in your mind and block out the truth about what's going on in reality. If a person came up to you and said, hey, I just seen an alien with 2 heads and 3 arms. Well, you've seen that in the movies. So you're going to say, that, get out of here. There's no aliens out here with no 2 heads and 3 arms. You know? Even though you watch Star Trek a lot, you've seen E.T., you've seen a lot of alien movies. You've seen Predator, you've actually seen Alien, right? So you've seen all of these different creatures that's supposed to come from outer space. But what if they don't come from outer space? What if they're all species here on this planet? You see, because I actually believe the Earth is 10 times bigger than what they're letting us to believe. So what if these creatures actually come from this? What if they're native to this planet? So you don't think outside the box like that because you've been taught to think in a controlled manner, a very simplistic manner. So someone says to you, hey, wait a minute. Maybe they don't come from outer space. Maybe they come from right here on this planet. No, I don't think so. E.T. don't come from underground. E.T. don't come from somewhere deep below the earth. So I say all of this to point you to something. One thing I've noticed when they set things up, and we're going to say they for right now, when they set things up, they don't set things up to happen tomorrow or the next day or even the next year. They set things up to happen 50 to 100 to 300 years from now. So they plan and plan and plan and plan in stages. The people who are planning, right, don't expect to live to see the plan through. You're talking about a collective effort of people who take the last information from the last group of people who died out, and they further that information. They add to it, and then the next group takes it, and then the next group takes it. That's how it gets played out all the way up until present day. When people say, hey, they've had alien technology 200 years ago. I mean, haven't you seen movies that depicted ancient people with super technology? And you're wondering, well, if we're the most advanced right now, then where did these ancient people get this super technology from? And how come they aren't here right now? Because if they had that kind of technology, surely they'd still be around. But we don't challenge these types of thoughts because we've been taught to think about life in a very simplistic way. So when someone comes up to you and say, "Hey, man, uh, this technology is old, man. People use this technology, 70,000 years ago." You're like, "Man, get out of here. What do you mean 70,000 years ago?" Yeah, I mean, they had spaceships 70,000 years ago, but they don't have any now. We supposed to be the most advanced right now, and you're going to tell me people who came before us had spaceships and we can't make any of our own? So there's a lot of questions that we can ask, right? But won't get any answers to. But then the common sense in us will constantly bug us like, wait a minute. How is it that they got stuff written on walls in some of these pyramids to where it tells you about spaceships and people coming from a distant planet coming down here to visit or do whatever they want to do? And you're like, well, wait a minute. Where are these people now? Did they die out? Did they kill each other off? Surely they would still be around somewhere. Now, one of the mysteries to me is language. How did we get language? We most certainly didn't create language. That's beyond our capabilities, our intellectual capabilities. Because when you study language, right? Everything about language connects to your life. Everything. All of the words. Actually, language helped you live. If you didn't have language, you would probably die. Because you wouldn't have any knowledge of anything. Like, how would you know to go to the bathroom without language? How would you know you were hungry without language? How would you know that you were sick without language? If you don't have this knowledge, you'll starve to death. You'll die from an illness. You will go to the bathroom on yourself. So language isn't just a communication tool. It's vital to you surviving. We didn't create anything like that. And then, who created the alphabet? We didn't do it. You can try as hard as you want right now. You can go get the most intellectual person you know, your academia superhero, right? And ask one of them to create a new letter to the alphabet. I bet they can't do it. Or ask them to create a new number. I bet they can't do it. You can't create no new alphabet letter. You can't create no new number without using the stuff you already have. So what does that tell you? It tells you that you didn't create this language, because if you did, you would have the information and knowledge in your head to create another letter or another number. You would know what to do. You would know how to begin to create one. None of you can even tell me where to even begin to create a new letter or a number. So that tells you right there that there is a higher intellect on this world that's far beyond ours. But who is it? Or what is it? We don't know. But there is something or someone or some bodies on this planet whose intellect far exceeds our own. And maybe they are the originators or the creators of our language and our number system. And so I said all of that to say this. Effeminization didn't just happen all of a sudden. This has been planned for decades, probably as far back as the Punic Wars. Because even back then, you had men, groups of men. They were dealing with homosexuality. A lot of people don't realize a lot of the wars that were fought back then were fought by armies of gays. Oh yeah, man, the gay dudes back then were war. A lot of them were warriors. If I told you the movie 300 was modified because the 300 dudes in real life were all gay, would you believe it? You can research it. They were all they were all homos. And think about this too, right? You've been programmed and don't even realize it to ignore male companionship. You've been programmed to ignore male companionship. When you see males together, tight together, you don't think nothing of it. You've been programmed to ignore it. So when you see boys playing with each other, wrestling with each other, you know, getting close to each other, bodies touching each other, oh, that's so cute, they're playing. But what doesn't come to your mind is homosexuality, right? That doesn't come to your mind. And then when you see groups of men all hanging together real, real tight, like those steppers in those Greek fraternities, all those Greek fraternities, right? That's all gay stuff. I mean, we can take it back to the Greeks. The Greeks used to have a nickname back in the day. That nickname used to be the lovers of boys. They've been getting called homos since, oh man, BC, maybe. I'll have to look it up, but they've been getting called out of their name for quite some time. But they were boy lovers. They hated women. So when you look at today and you look at the men who hate women or the men who despise women, right? Well, same thing. This is the influence of the Greeks. So this effeminization thing starts way back, and it evolved and it manifests and it adjusted according to the technology of the present time. Now, one of the most powerful things on this earth that can influence the mind is music. A lot of people like to talk about frequencies and vibration and hertz and all of that stuff. Well, I guess if you want to get into the technical and the scientifical and the super mystical, you can say those kinds of things. But I like to keep things very simple. The sound, different sounds affect your body different ways. Like, for example, men, straight men, when you hear the soft, sweet sound of a woman's voice, doesn't it affect your body? To hear that sound, right? You know where I'm going with it. Music really affects your body. So music can actually talk to you. It's in a different language that you understand, but you don't know how to speak back to the music, right? If I said to you, hey, why don't you go talk to the music and tell the music to stop affecting you the way it's doing, you wouldn't know how to do it, right? That don't even make any sense, right? That sounds crazy, doesn't it? What? Talk to music. But music talks to you, talks to your mind. It's a part of your mind that music can communicate with. And that part of your mind actually obeys music. So music is a very powerful influencer in our lives. And so through music, they put a lot of things into music to influence us. Remember I told you the time when I came up, music was about black love? Well, it wasn't just about black love. Everybody was singing songs of love back then. But that's what influenced us a lot to love black women. But then the music started to change. It started to become demonic in nature. And then that love started slowly turning to hatred. And now you have songs back then that you thought were cool that you never thought about before. They had a lot of homosexual energy in it, a lot of demonic energy. And you don't think anything of it because a lot of the people who make these rap songs, you think are masculine, you think they're cool. You know, they got the cool street names and whatnot. They get on here and they bark all of this. I'm going to kill this person and that person. I'm selling drugs. I go to jail and all this other stuff, right? So you think they on the up and up. You think they hard dudes from the street. Like, yo, man, that's a gangster. I can relate. No, you can't relate if you're not gay. Y'all need to go back and start. Y'all need to go back and listen to this music again. There's heavy, heavy, heavy homosexual energy in a lot of these rap songs. I'm talking all the way back to the days of Melly Mel and the Grandmaster Flash of the Furious Five. It got a lot stronger after Ice Cube and them came out with their BS, which was the perfect cover and the perfect opportunity to implement effeminization into the music. We broke down a song the other night on Ladies' Night. Used to be my dog, you was in my left titty. Scream, ride or die, thought you would die with me. Now there's a war, you ain't on the side with me. And then he called him a bitch, right? See, the bitch is the ultimate disrespect because a bitch is supposed to be a female dog or whatever, right? So a bitch is supposed to be a woman. And so you're weaponizing a woman against another man because that man betrayed you. That doesn't sound like a relationship to y'all? I mean, men aren't supposed to be emotional like that, right? Especially towards each other. I mean, that's some intimate shit. You used to be my dog, you was in my left titty. Scream, ride or die, thought you would die with me. Found out you a bitch. There go that term again. So they're using women to give their men or their mans in them the ultimate disrespect. So they're weaponizing women against men who betray other men. I understand this sounds a little wild, right? But you got to think about it. A woman is being weaponized because a woman in their world, right? A woman is a bad thing, a really, really, really bad thing. So when they're homo friends, when they're disrespected by their homo friends, the first thing they call their homo friends is a bitch. And so this effeminization is fueled by demonic energy. And the age keeps getting younger and younger. Another thing that they're slipping right by you simply because they teach you to think simplistically, right? They're talking about the age limit of consent that no one's paying attention to. Notice how it keeps getting younger and younger and younger. They even tried to pull it with, I believe, Dwayne Wade's son. Even Cardi B, with her demonic, screwed up self, jumped in there and tried to defend the fact that the boy wanted to be a girl and dress like a girl. So they're even going at it now, and they're trying to say that the child can consent at the age of 3. And no one is paying this any attention. These people are dead serious. They're not joking. So while we running around here talking about, oh man, nah, man, he tripping out, whatever. Understand something. They got a lot of power. They got connections, especially in the law. How else you think they can get away with all of this demonic shit that they're doing, and no one seems to care anything about it? So now you're talking about creating a class of people that you can manipulate and use, and they are totally under your control. So what is the goal? The goal is to get the mother of all civilization in check, so they can control the birth rate, so they can control who lives and who dies. The key to life and death is the woman. Whoever controls the woman controls the power of life and death. You guys heard me say that the womb is a sacred gate between the natural world and the spiritual world. So whoever controls the woman controls life and death itself. So they, the alphabet people, want to control life and death by capturing completely the mother of all civilization and keeping her in check and stripping her of her rights and breeding her. And then they can decide which offspring lives and which offspring dies. So to do that, they need to usher in a new kind of supremacy. Now, we all know about white supremacy, right? If it was white supremacy, it would be too obvious. But what about black supremacy? Has anyone thought about that? Sure, right? We've entertained it, right? We've entertained black supremacy, but you see, the way we entertained it was much different than what they have planned for it. You see, what they got planned for black supremacy is completely different from us, who thought about it and kicked it around a few times in our mind, because we was on something was, man, we would be gods on earth. You know, everybody would be under our rule, and it would be nice to have a black planet where we're supreme. You know, we kicked around those thoughts, but you see, they got other thoughts for black supremacy. You see, their idea of black supremacy is to have a ruling class that is effeminate and homosexual in nature, that oppresses the black race, particularly the black woman. And the taskmasters are all gay and black, and the slave is the black woman. And anyone that sympathizes with her or anyone that will fight for her, those are the only people that will be enslaved in the new black society that's controlled by black supremacy, which is controlled by white supremacy. Why you think there's so many black men running into this effeminate stuff and getting into these factions? They've been found out. You see, they got people that come to these groups and say, hey, this is what's getting ready to go now. You either on board or you're going to be under the board. What's your answer? This is what's in play. You can believe it or not. Here's what it is. You're going to have to compromise your sexuality. That is the only way you're going to survive and beat down with this new regime that's coming. It's all around you right now. And so these guys, they're spooked and they go right along with it. See, this is another reason why media is so important. Because they know black people are very impressionable, right? So they terrorize you mentally by showing you your death of you and people that look like you over and over and over again on TV. This takes a psychological toll on you. And it builds up fear. And the people who are doing it are of a certain race, right? And so when they come to you, with this ultimatum, you either gonna get on board or you're gonna be under the board. You're either gonna ride or you're gonna die. They're going to fear of George Floyd. They're going to fear of Sandra Bland. They're going to fear of Corinne Gaines. They're going to fear of oh, Dane, take over for me, please.
All right. So they're gonna try to recreate the Isle of Lesbos with us. They're already in some ways doing it. They 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 shaming people for not by using the homophobe, and they changing legislation that certain behaviors are homophobic. Shoots. Getting to the point where their thing is where you won't be able to do business or anything unless you fall in line with them or agree with them. Um, mhm. And yeah, they're gonna have their fingers in every pie of it. They're already doing it. If you don't do business with them, you or you don't have what they want. Like, hey, I made they'll keep upping ante, changing the goalposts. Um, yeah, yeah. They making it being neutral and fluid and okay with gay, um, popular. So we got you know people like you said, Billy D coming out saying he's neutral fluidity. I don't think he even knew what it meant. So yeah, and yeah, they making it where to be successful, you gotta be willing to wear a dress. How many black men we know that they at one time or another wore a dress, in a movie or had the okay, they want to be another race, another gender. Confusion creates confusion. Yeah, how you can be no gender? That just trips me out. Yeah, and it drives me crazy with the. Now you're trying to change the meaning of language. Now you can't use he or she
Okay,
anymore.
I'm back. I'm back.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so thanks, Dave. Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
so this has all been done right up under your nose. So to usher in black supremacy, they need to totally destroy masculinity, manhood, or anything manly because if there are any real men left, they're going to fight to the death to protect black women and black children. So this is why you have this campaign that masculinity is toxic. And not only is it toxic, but they're trying to kill two birds with one stone. They're trying to destroy the the true strong male, the alpha male. They're trying to destroy him. At the same time, they're trying to demean and degrade black women and trying to make black women's lives less valuable by saying that they're acting manly and saying that they're acting masculine, saying that they look masculine. If you notice, there's an all-out campaign to make the black woman either look masculine or that she is the least desired and nobody wants her. There's a reason why they're trying to do that. You see, because if you can make something valueless, then no one would be interested in it when something happens to it. You understand? Like if I gave you a car and that car was valued at $1 million, and everybody was like, wow, that's an expensive car, man. I like to have that one. $1 million car, yeah, yeah. But then when you start telling people, well, the car really ain't all that good, it's too much gas, and the tires keep blowing out. I got to constantly put it in the shop. You know, the engine almost fell out on me. One of the bucket seats came up out of the socket and everything. Number of problems. Now all of a sudden that value drops. People start about, wait a minute. I don't know if I want to go through all that trouble. I mean, $1 million. I don't know about all that. Okay, so that's probably why it sounds so good with $1 million because they got all of these problems. I ain't mess with it. Now all of a sudden the car gets devalued, and people start having different conversations about the car now. And this goes on for a while until people are starting to sound like this. Man, I'll never get a car like that. I don't want no crap like that. The piece of crap. Now they're calling the car a piece of crap. So now, when you wreck the car and total the car, nobody's going to care. As a matter of fact, they're going to tell you, well, you should have got rid of that car a long time ago. Thank God you got rid of it. Because that wasn't nothing but a bill. See? They're trying to do the same thing to black women. They're trying to devalue black women to the point that they'll be able to do anything they want to her, no matter how brutal, and no one will care because no one will value her life. And in some cases, they're going to be praised for brutalizing women, black women. And this is going on right now as we speak. I'm not making this stuff up. All you got to do is open up your eyes and ears. When you go to these channels and you listen, you need to listen to what they're saying. These are the people who've already sold out, have already let you know exactly what side they're on. They want to be a part of the new ruling class, the effeminate ruling class that's going to be headed up by hardcore homosexuals. And the black supremacy era is coming. And they're going to try to enslave black women and any people who side with black women, who are on the black woman's side, and children too. What do you think the age consent thing is about with children? Pedophilia is about to become absolutely legal. If a child can consent at the age of 3, what do you think is going to happen? Understand something. If they're trying to get a law that will allow a child to choose his or her sexuality at the age of 3, what do you think that's for? Do you actually think that that's for the child? No, that's for these pedophiles. Because if they can get that implemented and get that into law, what's coming next is consent. So a grown-ass man can come up to you and try to holler at your baby who's 3 years old. And there won't be nothing you can do about it because it'll be perfectly legal. He can shoot game at your 3-year-old. And if your 3-year-old is laughing and playing and giggling, giving consent, ain't nothing you can do. And if you try to attack that man, you're going to jail or worse. And then they're going to take your child away from you anyway. So while we running around here playing games, talking about everything's a game or whatever, these people aren't playing. These people are dead serious. And they have a lot of power. This is why you see black men jumping on board, because they're scared out of their mind, and they done brought in 100% into this feminization. They see a mighty machine coming, and they getting on that machine. They done gave up on their race. They done sold out. So this new black supremacy, and now I know you're probably telling me, Max, you crazy, man. What the fuck? You done lost your damn mind. I'm going to unsubscribe. Nigga, you crazy. That's okay. You can call me all these things. That's fine. But go and take a look at what's going on. Think about what you're seeing. Listen to the music. Listen to these guys in the manosphere. Look at what's going on television. Look at the laws. Watch the moves that Joe Biden is making. And you'll start putting it all together. It's no coincidence that the music sounds the way it sounds. It's no coincidence that you got boys concerned and care about more boys than they do girls. Hell, you even got guys who come in here who are concerned with only men. They don't care anything about women. Where do you think that's coming from? So this is what's going down. The new black supremacy is coming. And it's not the black supremacy that you and I used to kick around in our minds to make ourselves feel good as black people. No, it's going to be as oppressive and probably worse than slavery. And it's going to be controlled by white supremacy. We keep talking about devils are white. What about these black devils? We can't talk about these black devils. There's plenty of them too. Everybody keeps talking about, well, not everybody. Some people talking about the effeminization of boys, right? Absolutely. Absolutely, because they need as many of them as they can to carry out this plan. The black woman is the ultimate target. That's why she's being attacked the most. They're ganging up on her left and right, because she is the key to life and death. Whoever possesses her and controls her has the power of life and death in their hands. Whoever can control the black woman can become an earthly deity, a god. Now, I know this may sound far-fetched. I understand how it sounds. And I understand that we've been taught to think in very simplistic terms, and we probably can't really imagine what I'm saying right now. But the black woman is the key to life. The black, how do you think life got here in the first place? Even white people will tell you where life comes from. It comes from the black woman. That's the truth that they won't even lie about. So whoever controls her controls life and death itself. I told you before, she makes kings. She can also make somebody a god too. With that being said, give me a Dame.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, one more time, about 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah. So just when you think you know the game, you realize it's all coming together to go after black women through the black man, because then there'd be no black people. Feminine, feminizing black men, softening black men, removing the warrior out of them, diminishing black men, so there'd be no one to defend black women. Uh, making it making it hard
Okay, she can.
to be against anything gay. All right, and also our children's being targeted. Our women, our children, the men, and they found a way. They find a way to turn the men against the women. And
Okay, thank you. Hear me?
yeah, mm-hmm,
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So
mm-hmm.
Hassan, are you saying they already passed that law? Dame, see if they passed the consent law. Look up the consent laws and see if they passed that 3-year-old consent law. I wasn't aware that they passed it. Hassan said they already passed that law. See if you can find it, okay?
Okay.
All right, so while she's doing that, let me get back to what I was saying, okay? Irritated Genie knew about this. It's no coincidence you can't find Irritated Genie nowhere. He talked about this extensively. No one believed him until they shut his mouth. I'm not saying they murdered him, but he's nowhere to be found for some reason. He tried to explain to you what was being done. And now you have nothing but contingents of boys who are in love with other boys who hate women. You see, the hatred of women, when it's cultivated in someone and they grow up with that hatred, it's easy to brutalize that person. So they can look at a black woman with absolutely no feeling whatsoever and take a butter knife and carve her heart out. Because that kind of hatred has been cultivated in them, it's been nourished in them. They wanted to where it's absolutely natural to hate the black woman. Yeah, 7, yeah. I heard it was 7 to 8 too, but they're trying to lower it. They started out with the 9-year-old girl in Texas with the prophylactics, and then they lowered it down to I think 8. Then it went down to 7. I think it's down. Hopefully, they didn't get it down to 3. I must understand something, people. They're not playing any games. They got the law on their side. They got a lot of heavy firepower. While we out here singing and dancing, they're making moves. These pedophiles don't want to hide anymore. These homosexuals don't want to hide anymore. They want this to be their world, and they're poised to take it. You don't even realize that we're in a war with them. They know that they're at war with us, and they're trying their damnedest to effeminate as many boys as possible, to turn as many males against women as possible. What do you think that T gender thing is all about? That is all about the replacement of natural women. They just want to use the black woman as a breeder, so they get to choose who lives or dies. And since women outnumber men in this country, they pretty much got a gold mine with the black woman. Yeah, they're coming with a vengeance. And what are we prepared to do about it? Many of us won't prepared to do nothing because we don't believe it's happening. Not anymore, Yvette. They've dropped that dramatically. What are we prepared to do about it? What are you going to do when a grown ass man tries to holler at your 3-year-old daughter? It is perfectly legal for him to do so. Would you remember this podcast when people like myself tried to tell you that this was coming and you thought I was crazy? You didn't think I knew what I was talking about? All you got to do is open up your eyes. It's right in front of you. It's not hard to see. If you want to see, you will see. And I'm not talking about well, people see what they want to see. No. We're not talking about none of that. We're talking about seeing what's really out here. And while we're sitting up here caught up in opinion wars, because black people are doing ridiculous things like engaging in opinion wars. We got black people fighting on YouTube and social media over opinions. Oh, it's my opinion. That's your opinion. No, that's your opinion. So while you're arguing back and forth about opinions, these people are making serious moves that are going to affect your life and your children's life. Now, you can sit up here and try to sugarcoat it all you want. There's a reason why masculinity now is called toxic. There's a reason why they're saying the black woman is masculine. There's a reason why men are saying that she's not desired. There's a reason why you got people coming out talking about the black woman's life has no value. See, all of these are steps in a plan. And each step is being carried out by the people who've been assigned to carry out that step. And in the end, it is all going to come to the crescendo, which will turn into black supremacy, which is controlled by white supremacy. And the only people who are going to be enslaved under black supremacy are black women and those who sympathize with her and fight for her. They'll be the only ones enslaved. No one else will be enslaved. And when that happens, then it's good night. You're talking about Sodom and Gomorrah to the next level, made to manifest in real time. People think Sodom and Gomorrah was some biblical tale written by some people who were insane in the Bible. But one thing I want to tell you about Sodom and Gomorrah. Go and read that story, and I want you to pay close attention to something. Read about, forget about the fact that it was Sodom and Gomorrah. Read about what actually went on there and how they had no laws, right? And how men would run in the street and have sex with other men because no law was being broken, and how children were sacrificed, and it wasn't against the law. There was no law being broken. See, that's what I want you to focus on. I want you to focus on exactly the behavior of the people in Sodom and Gomorrah. Not Sodom and Gomorrah itself, but focus on the behavior and read about what they was doing. And then tell me if you see similarities to the behavior of people today. You're going to see some frightening similarities. And in some cases, you're going to see an exact replica of the behavior. Understand, Sodom and Gomorrah had no laws. They were lawless. Murder there was no consequence for murder. There was no consequence for rape. There was no consequence for homosexuality. There was no consequence for absolutely nothing. I told you before, and you thought I was crazy then when I said, the only thing that's holding back evil in this world, in which the likes you can't even comprehend, is our morals. Your morals. And they are trying to strip your morals away from you. And boy, I'm telling you, man, you think you see evil now? You have no idea what's waiting. What's waiting is unconscionable. And your morals and your emotions help keep a balance in humanity. Once they can get rid of those, then the balance of humanity will go all out of whack. I talked to you guys before about life needs balance. Once one side is heavier than the other, chaos ensues until the other side gets even, right? So think about it this way. They want one side to become heavy. And then while the other side is up and one side is down, they're going to put something under the side that's up so it will never truly come back down again. It will never balance out. It will never even out. They want complete and utter chaos. You know why? Because they thrive in that kind of environment. A normal person doesn't thrive in chaos. And so this is coming. A new ruling class being created right under your nose. The effeminate ruling class that's going to be implemented into Black supremacy, which is going to enslave Black women. And why the Black woman is the key. You've heard me say this before, but they keep calling me a simp. They keep saying I'm doing this. I'm trying to tell you some real shit. The Black woman has the power to create kings and gods. And whoever controls her controls the power of life and death. That is what this is all about. The control of life and death. The power is with the Black woman, and they want it all to themselves. But to do that, they must capture her completely and strip away her defenders. The throne must be unprotected so it can be saturated with corruption. I spoke to you before about the sacred rune of a black woman, which is the gateway between the natural world and the spiritual world. But I also told you that if that womb becomes corrupted, it can also bring demons into this world.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is a setup. Your natural eyes, your natural eyes is your greatest understanding of reality. And they know that. So to combat that, they weaponize a little phrase or term. It's called fact or facts. That term nullifies what you see. So you can see something, right? And they know that you're going to see a lot of strange things in this world. They know that, right? But in order for you to prove that you saw it, you have to have facts. You got to have proof of what you saw. It's not proof enough that you saw it. So even though you seen a strange being mouth open up the size of a Volkswagen, and another being comes out of it, you can't tell it to anyone. You can't go and tell that to anyone. No one is going to believe you because you have no proof, you have no facts. Proof is also weaponized against what you see. So you can see a lot of things, but the fact that you can't prove it nullifies what you see. So, and this is how they guard against you telling people the truth about what's really going on. So if you go and see a woman with 3 arms giving birth to a monster, that is what you saw. But because they don't weaponize fact and proof against what you see, when you go and tell it to someone who is quote and unquote of sound mind, they're going to think that you're crazy because you can't provide any proof or any facts. And if you can't provide either one of those things, then guess what? You get written off, you get dismissed, or you get called crazy. This is how they protect themselves from their truths being revealed. So now they've even taken away the power of what your eyes see. So even what you see now can be erased. You saw a man forcing himself on a woman over here behind a dumpster on Front Street. You go in the court of law, right? The law is designed to trick you and play tricks on you. They actually play games with your mentality in a court of law. What did you see? Well, I saw that man right there. What was he wearing? Oh, I can't remember, but I saw that man right there. What time of day was it? Was it light out? Was it dark out? Well, I couldn't really tell. Do you wear glasses? Yes, I do. Have you been drinking? No, I haven't. Were you wearing glasses that night? No, I wasn't. Then how do you know what you saw? Okay? It's designed to play tricks on your mind to strip you of your information. To because your eyes are extremely powerful because your eyes see reality. Your eyes don't see things that aren't there unless you hiked up on drugs, and they done damaged your mind somehow, and you're hallucinating or whatever. But if you are of sound mind, your eyes see reality. Your eyes don't lie. What they see is the actual truth of what's going down in real time in reality. They know that. So they have a way to guard against that and to nullify what your eyes see. And then they get other people to join in. Well, she didn't really see it. I mean, she saw it. He saw it, what, 2 days ago? Another reason why they do this in law, right? When an incident happened, they don't never come at you right away. You may have a witness statement. They take down a witness statement and you gave your statement, right? This is another reason why it takes so long to get somebody in the court. That is by design. You know why? Because as time go by, your memory fades because there are other thoughts that come into your mind on a daily basis. You got things to do. You got mouths to feed. You got to go put gas in the car. You need a new pair of shoes. You got a bill to pay. You're watching your favorite sitcom. You're mad because somebody died off the story and you're crying. I mean, all kinds of stuff is going on. All kinds of stuff is going on. Okay? So the chances of you remembering exactly what happened that night is slim, and they know that. So they come at you 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, sometimes even up to 2 years later, and ask you what you saw, and then give you pictures of the area which you thought you saw something there. It don't even look the same. Since then, it done undergone changes. You probably don't even recognize it anymore. Because when you saw it, it looked kind of different. All of this is to negate what your eyes seen. So now you have to ask yourself, what are you seeing now? What are you seeing out here in reality now? You see a lot of effeminization of boys. You hear all of this stuff about toxic masculinity. You hear all of the stuff about black women are masculine. What is it that you think you're seeing? There's a regime that planned to take over everything. And they're looking to control the power of life and death. Like I said, and I'm going to say this in closing. Whoever can control the black woman can control the power of life and death itself. And that person can become a god on earth. And with that being said, let me see if my co-host is still awake. Dame?
Hey, Max. Okay.
I'm at the end of my rant. So give me your take on what you heard.
Okay. Well, first of all, the age of consent thing. There's been no new law passed. There's no lowering. The age of consent, depending on the state, the lowest in those states that's a little lower is 16. Some states are 16. Other states are 18. There's nothing on the books about them lowering it, but I feel like there's a feel of being put out there because there was a fake one going around, and they probably feeling to see the reaction of everybody, so they need to know. They need more time before they pull that out. Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do think that there is a hard press to work on our children. Um, they having sex education for elementary students, dealing with homosexual sex. Sex education for elementary students used to be about their bodies and them going through puberty and stuff like that. Now you got to know uh, um all this in elementary. They doing, yeah. Um, encouraging the kids getting used to seeing gay people and accepting gay people and all that pageantry. There was that thing going on with the libraries about uh 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 um dr- um men dressing up like women to read to the kids in the library. There was a big fight at that. Some states they lost the fight or they gave in. Other states didn't. The states that gave in, you would not know that this was supposed to be a read along to kids. You swear you in an adult, uh, um, you're in a strip club basically. Um, they doing all kind of dance and all kind of stuff. I said, what this got to do with reading the kids? I know my state fought heavily against that, and they said we ain't saying you can't read to the kids. We're just saying all that full dressing as a woman regalia thing is not needed.
Right,
Because
and
they
then,
told me
and then you
that
have
it was
people.
always like that, and I was like, the hell it was. And they tried to make people that fought against it seem like they were being homophobic or they weren't being progressive. You know, or they even brought children who were the children of a gay couple or been adopted by a gay couple to try to make it, oh, this is natural, this is okay. But they got the child dressed up in full gay pageantry of a woman, not way regular women dress, pageantry of it. Any of those that been to the gay pride parade or seen them or are seeing movies of them, you know what all that regalia looks like. Why do a child need to dress up like that? Even though the child was a girl, girls and women don't dress up like that. You know.
And then and then
Mhm.
you have adults that are coming out and defending these kids who are making these choices. Didn't they say, was it Dwayne Wade's son made this choice at a very early age?
Mhm.
I don't believe none of that. Okay, I can't remember nothing when I was 3 years old. I don't even know where they get this stuff from. But you have people, pay attention to the people who are coming out and defending all of this, especially when you have the guys walking around these big dresses. Now, I'm going to tell you something. What really put an explanation point on this effeminization thing and to let you know that homosexuality is your biggest enemy, I believe it was the Oscars, right? When you have black men show up in a big ass dress.
Mhm.
Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that dress? That dress was huge.
Yeah, I saw all the pictures of it. I was like, God
Right.
damn it.
See, this is what your problem is. And y'all sitting up here talking about some knowledge of self and talking about the black woman got an attitude. You gonna get an attitude, all right. You're gonna get knowledge of self, all right. Well, you no longer have control over your children. I mean, you got grown people coming out fighting alongside of these children who are mixed up because they mixed them up. Let's keep it real. They didn't come in this world born like that. That was taught to them. They don't mix these kids up. All right, and
Mhm.
so you got these children who are screwed up, don't know what their sexuality is, talking about they want to choose their gender and all this other stuff. And you got grown adults talking about that's right. They should have the right to this. They should have the right to do that. That's all by design.
Mhm.
Y'all aren't paying any attention. You aren't paying any attention to this. You think Cardi B came out and defended the Way son was by accident? She did what she was supposed to do. You think Janelle Monae running around here looking like some kind of little imp, talking about some she's non-binary? None of this stuff is by accident. These people are supposed to be doing what they're doing. They have a part to play in all of this. And we're not paying this enough attention. We're not serious about this. We're over here talking about BS. We're talking about whether the Bible is better for us versus the Quran. We're getting into endless debates about Kemet or Egypt, or we're debating about who has their name in our mouths or some silliness like that. We're talking about the black woman has an attitude, or she's masculine, or she raises her voice too much. Seriously? Y'all need to get into what's really going on out here. These people are trying to take control of your kids. Ultimately, what they want is for the parents to have no control over their children.
Mhm.
Once they can get control out of the hands of the parents, then pedophilia will be all but legal.
Yeah.
And while
Yeah.
you're sitting up there talking about the black woman has an attitude, there are going to be children that will be legally molested. Go ahead, Dan.
Oh, yeah. Like okay, Dwayne Wade's son. Nobody paid attention to how the daughter, the mother, who's against her son wearing a dress, against the gay pride parade, it was wrestled out of her control. You know, she was
Mm-hmm.
made to look like she was a detriment to her child because she wasn't accepting
Mm-hmm.
wearing a dress or saying that
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to change his sex or anything, and that as long as he was with her, he was going to be dressed like a boy.
Yep.
But they jump up and down on her, and the father, who should have been on the side with the mother, or has some control, he went with it. And now the mother, we don't hear nothing no more about the mother. I don't know if the mother even got custody of her child anymore. They
And I'm gonna tell you
used
something
the
else.
fact to take her child away from her.
I'm gonna tell you something else too, ladies and fathers. You better be mindful of these frat groups from these colleges. You better be mindful. I'm telling you right now. These steppers and stuff like that. These guys got a homosexual agenda. They're trying to make it okay, all right, for your boys to accept other men and get used to being around men like that. If you look at them dudes, right, they move like women. They gyrate their hips. They stomp their feet like women. Go all the way back to the 70s when you used to see girls outside jumping rope, double dutch, right? How they used to cheer, right? Um, then you know what I'm talking about, those cheers or whatever, right?
Yeah,
And
like
how they used to
Wildcat.
dance and yeah, right, If you look closely at that, go look at these steppers. You will see the exact same thing taken to the next level. Okay, and you see guys gyrating their hips, slapping their feet, just like girls. That's all about homosexuality. All of the fraternities, right, are under that Greek homosexuality thing. Don't be fooled because they tell you, "Well, I'm a forever, I'm a Q dog my ass." That don't mean that doesn't stop the meaning of what those fraternities are all about. and you got grown ass men walking around here, shaking their ass, gyrating their hips, slapping their heels, slapping their feet, stomping their feet like girls, all in the floor, twerking like girls. You get caught up in this stuff, man. And y'all think that is, and then they got the women. Remember, I told y'all before how they actually got themselves put on the map. They went through women because women, right, are the ones who help them implement this, help them bring this stuff and have it accepted by society. They didn't go through no men. They're not gonna go to no man to him and say, "Hey, man, we want you to accept some homo." What? It's not happening. So in order to get the stuff out here in the mainstream and get it accepted, they had to go through women. And so whenever they want to put on some kind of, crazy display like that, who do you think is sitting right there? A bunch of women.
Uh-huh.
When you go to these stepper shows, who do you see there more than anybody else? Women. They're right up in the front, clapping, egging them on. And these guys are on the floor, gyrating the hips, doing nasty movements with their hips and all of that, like women do, like girls, twerking all in the floor, all of that, shaking their behinds, everything. And y'all think that's cute. And they are encouraging young boys to join these fraternities.
Yeah.
Take over for me, real Dan. I got to get something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, clapping their hands. Yeah, say it ain't so. Yeah, because that was part of the cheerleader chant. That's how they kept rhythm, was the clapping. Um. Yeah. So yeah. The a lot of the fraternities are Greek, and the Greeks were gay. Anything where there was a group of males involvement as a group had to do with uh gayness, because for men to live together um and be around each other to that degree, especially um they had to love one another, so to say. And the pedophilia came in because a lot of these Greeks, since they were military, they're what they call that the with their standard bearer, their weapons boy, whatever, was always a young boy who
That's
worked on
right.
the side and took care of them and
Uh,
served them.
Even back in ancient times,
Mhm.
Greeks used to be known as the lovers of boys. And all of these fraternities in these colleges are Greek. Put two and two together.
Mhm.
You got a bunch of effeminate men in groups. These are gay groups. Why do you think those dudes are like, look at how, okay, one of the surefire ways, or, an attribute or a style or a marker, if you will. Look at how the guys are dressed. Look at the way they're groomed. All right. Some of them look like they're wearing makeup. Look at the way they groom. Pretty boys, whole bunch of stuff. Just look. Don't take my word for it. Just go and look and ask yourself, why is a grown heterosexual male gyrating and shaking his hips and behind all in the floor like a girl? Next time you see these stepper shows, ask yourself that question. Take a hard look and watch these guys' movements. And then go look at the girls who go outside and cheer. Go look at them, but then look at them guys again. And you've been lulled to sleep with all of this. You know, you've been watching this for a long time now, and you don't think anything of it. Go ahead, Dan. I got to take care of something.
Yeah. And yeah, Greek fraternities. Yeah. Yeah. So they always had Greek fraternities in a lot of the colleges. In fact, sororities is the new animal. They didn't used to be mhm. Oh yeah, and now they invading they taking it back. Let's see, what was it a while back? One of the one of the black colleges fraternity, they were being sued and made to accept a gay person into their fraternity. Well, I just say they were just taking back what started off as theirs in the first place, and they're making it. They're trying to get it. The men comfortable with it. They said, "Well, he's no different than any of my other brothers." And the hazing and all that stuff that's done in fraternities is for you to get you to accept things that was not natural for you. You know, that was not natural for men. So they were like breaking them in. Sounds familiar, huh? Is always some to be part of a men's group requires some type of breaking in. Is the hazing, um, which seems to harken back to buck breaking. It is used to get used to humiliation, get used to suppressing your independent nature to another. And how far does it go? You know, I don't think it
How you
just
doing?
ends just being embarrassed or
Trying to
forced to
get
do
there to help you out, but
unknown things.
I'm getting hit.
It's for you to bend over and take it. Bend over and swallow. I know that there was some stuff coming out that some of those fraternities, some of them boys were raped
Bill, get a total, and they found me on the phone.
and being told that this was part of being a fraternity. You wanted to be a brother of that fraternity, you should take it.
Okay, y'all, we getting ready to shut it down.
Mhm.
Dan, how you feel? You go a little longer? Or you want
Um,
to shut it down?
um, I'd be, uh, I'll be honest. I'd rather shut it down, but I can
All right.
go. Okay.
All right. Well, I got to get off anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
just shut it down when you're ready. Okay.
Oh,
Huh?
okay. All right.
Okay. Because I got to get. I got to take care of this load. All right, everybody. I got to go. So hopefully, I'll give you something to think about. I'm gonna leave you in the hands with Dane, but she may shut it down in a few minutes. So,
Mhm.
Dane, if you get tired, just get ahead and shut it down. Okay. I'll see you later on.
Okay.
Okay, peace, power, unity, everybody. Hopefully, I gave y'all something to think about. And please open your eyes. It's right in front of you. Peace.
Yeah. Yeah. Pay attention to these laws. Now we got all these anti laws. They are the four runners before is we got anti black, we got anti Asian. How long you think it's gonna be before there's gonna be anti gay or anti LG alphabets? I can't remember them all. LGBTQ, wait, LGBTQT, whatever. You know all the alphabets of it. Yeah, I think it's gonna go under the cover of all these laws. Um, and eventually there's gonna be one that's gonna be anti, gay. hmm Yeah, yeah, and pay attention to. Okay. As I said with Dwayne Wayne, we don't hear nothing no more about the mother. In fact, it's gotten so bad I don't even remember the mother's name. I don't know if the mother has custody of her child. This is what's going to happen. Um, they're going to use something that the child does and make it gay, and that the child is really gay, and the child is expressing himself. The child was probably just wanting to play dress up, or wanted to wear some adult clothes and got better access to the mothers. You know, um, that can be changed. Just like, oh, no, these are mommy clothes, these are girls clothes. you know here's some clothes of daddy. You want to try daddy's boots on, and all that other stuff. But because the child happened to do the women's clothes, all of a sudden the child is gay, or the child thinks the child feels he's a girl, or he's expressing his gay side. I don't believe in it that's going on. The younger the child, the less I think is likely. And so the parent that's against this, who wants, okay, the child's a boy, gonna dress as a boy, and that's it. Get suppressed, get dominated, get bad mouth, get until eventually the child is taken away. It's seen that the parent is traumatizing the child every time she has them wear boys' clothes, and the child will be taken away, and that would be how they would be starting to take away the kids. You know, And then they're gonna have the age of consent, where the child can decide to have a sex augmentation, or what's or take the drug to keep them from going through puberty if it's a boy, or keep them from going to puberty, so it make it easier for them to transition. That's gonna get lower and lower. I think that's what we need to watch out for. Those drugs, to suppress their going through puberty, so they can transition easier. I don't think those laws of getting lower, that the child can do it as young as whatever age. hmm Yeah, and we need more. And they have all these celebrities coming out saying, "Yeah, the child has the right, blah blah blah," and stuff like that. You know, and that just put more pressure, more ammunition to um that that the parent that don't want it is homophobic and stuff like that. But anyway, y'all, I'm gonna wrap it up and call it a night, because eventually I'm gonna get Lulu and I'll be talking out my head. Y'all have a good night. I want y'all to think about that. Pay attention to laws that have to deal with age of consent to anything, not just sex. We're talking about drugs to prevent puberty, drugs, age of consent to have the sex augmentation, and all that other stuff, or the beginning or the prepping for the sex augmentation, all that need to be paid attention to too. Because don't want the child go through that. I don't know how many trans I'm hearing about that they wish they hadn't changed their sex. You know. Yeah, I heard that. But that's a lot of soy they're gonna have to be drinking. And it helps if they kind of fat. You get the combo, the soy and the body fat. But anyway, I'm gonna go, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Peace, power, and unity. I'll see y'all another time. And we're gonna end this out with a song.
Yeah, son. There's mad kids out there getting cream for the 9-5, bro. Yeah, and I've been doing this for a long time. You know, shoot the game going for fine.
Alright.
And this is the year when mad cats get peeled. So I'ma spark this line, kick the rib.
Bang them out.
With all this chaos in the realms of the street, your local street dog got to make ends meet. The average Joe's far too slow for the ghetto pro. You better know, when I hit the streets, I like to glow, I like to glisten. And at the same time, stay low, listen, motherfuck the fame. I'm pursuing the dope. My stilo is symbolic to a kilo. Cash is popping, coke is cooking, beans is copping. Ain't that some shit? A player that's used to living rich is now a sticky kid, caught up in a ditch. In 94, Giuliani kicked down the door. In 95, niggas flipped to stay alive. Peeling caps while I laugh. In the stats, the 4.5. Remy in the glass, spark the boom, then I blast. They wanna confine me, sneak up from behind me. Bust a cap in my back and put me where they can't find me. They hate to see a young player pay. I don't wanna see that, son. They rather see him spray. But I'm like Diddy, a Terminator, squeeze the lead off. Using verbs and nouns like rounds to blow your head off. Hitting up spots, heating up blocks. Investing in stocks like Colombian blow crops. I'm out to get cream and ain't no doubt in my mind. Fuck this broke shit, I'm hit, I get down for mine. I get down for mine, I get down for this. And you wanna put your hands in the air. I get down for mine, I get down for hands on the regular. Shit, hands on the bed. I get down for mine, I get down for this. And you wanna put your hands in the air. I get down for mine, I get down for this. On the regular. Shit, I hear you wanna be a player. I ain't someplace you bet. Let's play a game of real nigga roulette. Witness a DOA as I spray the melee. Contact and punctuation is compared to AKs. You in a daze. Overdose for pure funk. I'm fucking off like Tommy Gibb. My karma's a boost. Decapitated rappers in my trunk. I'm sick, pumping skunk, bouncing with my click, popping mega jump. I'm getting back while these clowns be zigzagging. What's this talk about flipping keys? Come on, you're nickel bagging. I'm blasting off wings and making doubters believe it. You see, I was packing heaters when jokers was banging cheerleaders. Ain't nothing changed, it's still the same in the rap game. I'm known for banging rookies out the frame. Y'all done forgot who was the pimp from the start. Sipping vintage wine, eating a la carte. I'm phenomenal from the abdominal. Far from comical lyrics and sticking the brains like barnacles. Never sweet. I'm bringing the drama to the streets with techniques and rolling in fleets. Ain't nothing sweet about the streets, so I'm poetically ill. I'm pure like cook up and lyrics shine like fish scale. I got the banger at your throat and you ain't showing no signs. K-Dep, let them know I get down for mine. I get down for mine.